So part 2 of chapter 9, inventory management. We're going to talk about if it is better to have a high or low inventory, right? So how do we answer that question? Is that better to have a high or a low inventory? Well, if you take out the current situation, you say, well, we should have more toilet paper, right? We should have a very, very high inventory of toilet paper. Because whenever there is a pandemic world crisis, we'll have enough toilet paper. Well, the thing is, all the other days that we don't have a world pandemic crisis happening, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to have too much inventory. And is toilet paper easy to storage? No, it's not, right? Because it is bulky, right? It's not expensive, and it takes a lot of space. So you need to have space to have tons and tons of toilet paper, and that space will cost you money. So that's why you don't have tons and tons of toilet paper, right? And whenever you have a spike on demand, guess what? You don't have the problem. So in this case, there's always a balance. Some things are good if you have high inventory. Some things are good if you have low inventory, right? So again, depending on the product and the characteristics of that product and the demand, how it happens and how easy it is to put it in inventory, it could be better to have a high or a low inventory, right? So why would it be good to have a high inventory, right? So remember that we have a lot of inventory of stuff. Why would that be good? What cost I will reduce? Well, for instance, I'll have less probability of having a stock out, right? So that's the example that we just talked about. If I have tons and tons of toilet paper, I'll have less risk of having a stock out of toilet paper. If I have tons and tons of ventilators, we talk a lot about ventilators nowadays. So why don't we have thousands and thousands of ventilators? Why don't we have thousands and thousands of masks and other protection equipment? Well, because no one knew that, there's going to be this kind of a pandemic in this behavior, right? Never happen again, or at least the last 100 years. So there was no pressure, there was no chance of having a stock out, right? So if I have more items, I have a less chance of stock out. Okay. Also, if I'm producing large bulks of products, right? So if you, let's say that we're going to try to make a grocery store last for a month, the whole month of April. So I can imagine that you have to buy a lot of stuff so it will last for a whole month, but then I just need to put one order, right? Or I just need to go once to the grocery store. So it will reduce the time that it'll take to go to the grocery store, right? And that's what we call ordering or setup cost, right? So that cost of purchasing the item in our case will be going to the grocery store, putting everything in the cart, and paying and leaving. I only need to do once for the whole month, right? So that will be a cost that I'll reduce. Okay. Same thing, the supplier or equipment that I'm producing in manufacturing. I have the setup cost. Remember setup? Talk about setup and changeover. So setup will be the time between I'm producing one type of product and then I change and then producing the other type of product. The setup cost will be smaller per year because I'm doing less of that, like less changeovers, right? Also, I can say I'm utilizing better my trucks or transportation, right? So if I kind of put all the items and fill up the whole truck, I'll be doing less trips, right? So there's basically these two costs that are going to be reduced if I have a high inventory, if I buy in big bulks, the cost of ordering or cost setup, and also the stock out cost.